When you are vulnerable, it really shows up in your body and your health. And human trafficking victims are definitively some of the most vulnerable people in our community and some of the most vulnerable people that we are going to treat in the healthcare system.
Have you ever been in a situation that felt completely normal at first? Nothing unusual, nothing alarming, nothing that made you stop and question anything. And then slowly over time, something started to feel off, not in a way you could clearly explain to someone else, but just a quiet feeling in the back of your mind telling you that something wasn't quite right. Maybe you ignored it at first. Maybe you told yourself you were overthinking, but that feeling stayed. That's how many situations begin, not with something obvious or dramatic, but with something that feels ordinary, something that feels safe, something that doesn't give you a reason to doubt it in the beginning. That's the part most people don't expect. When people imagine harmful or dangerous situations, they picture something immediate, something intense, something that is easy to recognize and avoid. But in reality, it often doesn't look like that at all. It starts in environments that feel familiar, with people who seem normal, in conversations that feel natural and easy. There is no moment where everything suddenly feels wrong. There is no clear warning sign that tells you to stop. And because everything feels okay at the start, there is no reason to question what's happening. At first, everything may actually feel positive, and that's what makes it even more convincing. Someone might seem supportive, understanding, or genuinely interested in helping. They might ask about your goals, your situation, or the challenges you're going through. They might offer advice that sounds helpful or opportunities that seem like they could improve your life. And because it feels aligned with what you need at that moment, it doesn't feel risky. It feels like something good, something worth trusting, something that might actually make things better. But slowly, things begin to shift. And this shift is so subtle that it's easy to overlook, especially when you're already comfortable. It might start with small changes that don't seem important at first. A slight change in tone during conversations. A little more pressure when decisions come up. Requests that feel just slightly more personal or urgent than before. At first, these changes are easy to ignore. You might explain them away, tell yourself it's just part of the situation, or assume it's nothing serious. After all, everything still looks mostly the same on the surface, and nothing feels extreme enough to cause concern. As time goes on, those small changes begin to build on each other. What once felt optional may start to feel expected. What once felt easy may start to feel uncomfortable. The dynamic slowly shifts, but not in a way that is obvious or easy to explain. It happens gradually, step by step, until the situation feels different, even if you can't clearly point to the moment when it changed. One of the reasons this is so difficult to recognize is because people naturally adapt to their environment. When something changes slowly, your mind adjusts to it. You begin to normalize things that once felt unusual. You stop questioning small changes because they don't feel new anymore. And because there is no clear moment where everything suddenly becomes different, it becomes harder to realize that something has changed at all. Trust also plays a major role in how situations like this develop. When trust is built early, it creates a sense of comfort and familiarity. And once that comfort is there, people are less likely to question changes. They give the benefit of the doubt. They assume things are still okay because they were okay before. And that trust can make it difficult to step back and look at the situation clearly, especially when you want to believe that everything is still fine. At the same time, subtle pressure can begin to build in ways that are not always easy to notice. There may be a growing sense of urgency in certain situations where decisions feel like they need to be made quickly. There may be moments where saying no feels harder than it should. You might start to feel like you have less control over your own choices, even if you can't fully explain why. And little by little, control begins to shift, without it ever feeling sudden or obvious. What makes this even more challenging is that from the outside, everything can still appear completely normal. To other people, nothing may seem different. There may be no clear signs that anything has changed, and because of that, it can feel isolating. Like you're the only one noticing that something feels off, even if you don't have the words to explain it. That isolation can make it even harder to trust your own instincts. We're here to raise awareness on sex trafficking. Your voice matters. Join us.